basically saying that you think that you're God, because we cannot convert them. It is God's power to convert a person to come into Christ. And God uses weak people like me and you and basically anyone to show that how God can use you to share that gospel to them. And in fact, you can see that in the Bible lots of times. Like, how many perfect people can you see in the Bible?
Think God can't use you? Think He only uses perfectly qualified people? Take a closer look. Moses was not a great speaker. Jonah ran from God. Jacob was a liar. Noah got drunk. Rahab was a prostitute. David had an affair. Jeremiah was depressed. A lot. Solomon was rich in wisdom, but poor in lifestyle. John the Baptist was just plain poor. Timothy was too young. Abraham was too old. Lazarus was dead. Sarah was barren. Naomi was a widow. Gideon and Thomas both doubted. And so did Sarah. Peter lacked self-control. James and John were self-righteous. Paul had a short fuse. Well, so did Peter and Moses. Actually, lots of people did. God's army isn't perfect. It never has been. It's the march of the unqualified. Get in line.
So yeah, basically everyone is capable, with God's help, can share the gospel to anyone. And there are some other considerations. Maybe you are afraid, because this probably involves public speaking. I'm a terrible public speaker myself. So, how can God use you? Maybe you're afraid and you're just, no, I don't want to do this. Well, sometimes maybe because you feel afraid, it's because maybe you don't think that you feel equipped. Let me show you an example. I'm going to have to use warfare for this example. But let's say you're going to face off against these superior warfare weapons. And I told you that you're going to go fight them with a feather duster. You're probably not going to feel that confident to face against that armada. But if you equip yourself and educate yourself into getting yourself prepared, or maybe equip yourself to know how to share the gospel, then those tools can be useful for you, and it would help you build courage when you talk to people. There's a call about in Peter, in the book of 1 Peter as well, is that always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give a reason for the hope that you have. So the call is in the scripture as well. You need to be prepared as well to talk to someone about that, because God knows that you will probably meet a non-believer sometime soon, probably this week or maybe next month or any time. So we all need to be prepared about this. So in conclusion, I want to just share these two important things. One is that you can do it. I don't care whether you have experience about this or have no experience on this whatsoever. You can do it. God can help you do it. And He will use you to share that good news. And also, do something. We don't really have to talk. There are so many different ways to be able to promote that gospel to someone. It could be just a simple letter. It could just be a dinner with someone and we talk about the gospel. It could be a tract. I hear many news stories about like what missionaries sometimes do to spread the gospel. I think I heard quite recently there was one person who tried to have a hot air balloon filled with, I don't know if it's gospel tracts or Bibles, and try to go from South Korea to North Korea just so that they could have the gospel. Do you know that specific news? But like, they're doing something to have that gospel being shared to all four corners of the earth. And it doesn't have to be somewhere out of the United States. Right here is a mission field by itself. Your neighborhood is a mission field. Everywhere is a mission field. You don't have to go to the deepest jungles or the most native tribes to share the gospel. You can start right in your front yard, talking to neighbors, talking to your friends, maybe someone you know from high school that you don't, that you haven't really shared the gospel to, but you know that he's not a Christian and you really care about that person. Just do something to share the gospel. And I will end with this quote by Charles Spurgeon. And I feel that this quote is quite good to defining what our attitude should be in when we share the gospel with someone. If sinners be damned, at least let them leap to hell over our dead bodies. And if they perish, let them perish with our arms wrapped about their knees, imploring them to stay. If hell must be filled, let it be filled in the teeth of our exertions, and let not one go unwarned and unprayed for.